So when you log into KvCore, first thing you want to do is let's go ahead and hit the at the top right here. You'll see a section with your name. You're gonna click on that, and it's gonna bring you a drop down. And from that drop down, we want to click on My Profile. Okay, this is the first thing you should do when you get started with KvCore. So on here, it'll basically show you all of your contact information, your social media accounts, a little about me section right here, uh, also a section where you get to put your email signature. Okay, and I'll go through each. I'm just scrolling through the whole thing, that way you kind of get to see what this page looks like. And on the right side, you have more settings. You can send emails from here, change your passwords. So when you get onto this page, you want to click the edit profile button right here, and then once you do that, it will let you change or add more information. So make sure your name is correct, make sure you have a nice photo up here, and some of this stuff, or all, should already be filled out. When I set up my KvCore, it did not have my MLS ID or my NRDS ID. Okay, it already had my vendor on there. So if you don't see any of this information, the agent MLS ID is basically your username, the one you use to log into your MLS. NRDS ID is something that the MLS will also provide. So when you signed up for your MLS, for me, they also included it in the welcome email. So if you don't have this information, I would reach out to your broker or reach out to your local association so that you can find that number and plug it in there. And this is very important because KvCore is going to use this to tap into your MLS subscription and be able to provide you with listings and information about different properties that are on the market on the MLS. So this is absolutely essential to KvCore. Okay, so make sure all this is filled in. And vendor ID was already filled in for me. If not, reach out to your broker or local association to find out what all this info is. So this from email section right here, this is what clients will see, or anyone you use when you use KvCore and you send out an email, this will be the from email. Okay, if there's nothing in here, I believe it will just use your brokerage email instead. But if you have a custom email on there, go ahead and put that. That way it looks more professional. From name, this is the name that when you send emails, it will show this as your name. Okay. Website, first field should already be in there for you. This is the website that KvCore makes for you. So KvCore is basically, there's two sides to KvCore. So the front end, let's call it front end and back end. Anything that happens on the front end will trickle down to the back end, where you get to do all the magic and interact with all the information you gather from the front end. That could be client emails, people visiting your website, all sorts of data. So on here, that will be, the URL for your personal, your KvCore generated website. And we'll take a look at that very shortly also. Second website field, this is if you have a website you made for yourself, something totally separate from what KvCore made for you. Okay, so if you have that, go ahead and put that on there, and that way you can have that filled in. The other sections, you can look for particular lenders and designations, and you could, all of these fields are very self-explanatory. I highly recommend you fill in as much of the social media section as possible, because this will make sharing things on social media platforms much easier. Because KvCore has features where with a click of a button, it'll open up those social media websites and actually create a whole post for you to just post. It's super simple. Okay, so fill all that stuff in. This information also, I believe, will show up on your website. That way, if you want people to look you up on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, make sure that's there, because you want as much exposure as possible. License number, I'm sure you should know that. If not, find that and pop that in there. And then, basic info about you. So if you scroll down here, you want to make sure you have something nice in here, because when people go on your KvCore website, this section will show, and you want, something about you to show here. You want people to know that you're not just any regular agent. So make sure you have a good biography in there and tell them all about yourself, because you're amazing. Um, so on this section right here, the email signature. So you're gonna be most definitely going to be sending out a lot of emails and receiving a lot of emails from clients and maybe other agents. And with all the regulations, you want to make sure that anything you send out there has your license number, maybe your broker logo, whatever is required in your area. So it's a good idea to have this on pretty much all emails that get sent out. So I would fill this in and then check the button here at the bottom. This will include that email signature on every email you send, which we want. So that's good. And if you scroll down here, I don't have this filled out. I don't think it's very important. And I actually don't think clients can see this. It might be visible on the website somewhere, but this is not something that I have filled in. But hey, go ahead and knock yourself out, fill all this stuff in, and make your profile complete. Okay, so that's pretty much the oh yeah that's pretty much the my profile section. So once you have this all completed, congratulations, you have given KvCore all of the core information it needs to be able to work to its fullest for you.